This is Seth Rowland, president of Basha Systems. A large national law firm retained us to build a system that ties together time matters and HotDocs into a single system for handling high-volume real estate foreclosures. This system tracks the court calendar in time matters and handles the document creation with HotDocs using information contained in the time matters database. At the same time, since these transactions take place over a period of months and years, the HotDocs answer file has been adapted to include a workflow and process flow feature that tracks the system through different stages and then displays to you the appropriate documents for the stage for assembly. We present you a HotDocs library, but in practice, as typical of many of our systems, the only integration template that you need is the actual document master. That master is in fact called directly by time matters, and this library is never seen in the system. The library consists of initial pleadings, includes the appointment of the temporary administration with subfolders depending upon the portion of it, the first steps of the process. In this case, the appointment of a temporary administrator is a four-stage process with different sets of documents at each stage. There's a similar provision for the guardian ad litem appointments. The appointment of a referee is divided into four different stages. The judgment and foreclosure itself has different periods in terms of initial filings through the judgment and foreclosure. Same too for the closing. The discontinuance as well. Throughout the system, we have certain documents that are used in multiple different workflow processes, and these documents, such as the notice of entry, are reused. And unlike a typical HotDocs system, we actually use the same template, but using a series of set and other commands, it is modified according to the needs of the other requirements. In addition, we have a series of standard forms that are used to handle things like captions and signature blocks and notice. But from the perspective of the end user, the person who has to use the system from day to day, the only thing that they ever see is the document master. The system starts out real simple. Let us save this answer file so we have something to work with. This will be, 250 Park Avenue, and our internal number is 0624, and so we've saved our answer file. We haven't done anything in our processes. We simply click Next, and we start choosing what do we want to do. Let's simply do the initial documents. You start with a summons and complaint, click Next, and we start describing the property. Choose our borough, put the CRFN, the lot number, and the block number, and we'll put in our property. This is 250 Park Avenue. And actually, we'll make it in Brooklyn. If we have the text of the property description, we can cut and paste it from another document. For this, we'll let them put that in later. We describe the nature of the lien when it was recorded. The date of the tax lien, we'll just make it today. The type of default, annual or semi-annual, and the lien amount. They owe about $250,000 in back taxes. When it was purchased last month. And we can choose the appropriate trust year. It's in the 1990s. It's in the 2004A trust. We need to enter some crucial case data. We've built in some defaults into the system. You can put in the summons and complaint and the reference number And one thing that you'll notice is that this crucial case data dialog will change depending upon what stage you are in the process, asking you what particular data that you need. We have certain default general defendants, such as John Doe's, other people who might have. You can indicate whether they were served and when. You can include the U.S. as a defendant, indicate the date that they were served, and the date the affidavit of service was filed. And then you can enter details on who the defendants are in the matter. We have defendants who are fee owners, and this is our favorite friend, John Smith. John Smith is represented by counsel, so we would put details on his counsel. If he's not, we would simply put in his address. He is actually currently living at 250 Park Avenue. If we had served the complaint, we would put the details on the actual service and who had served it, and if he had answered the complaint, we would put the details on when he had answered. At the moment, we're in the first stage of the process and we haven't served anything. If we have a second defendant, this is an other lienor, not the fee owner, and this could be a credit card company, and this would be Citibank MasterCard. We would now put in the details on this particular defendant's lien. He also happens to have a $25,000 credit bill. It's been reduced to judgment, and the lien was docketed on a particular date. We put in the date it was docketed. We'd put in the address and service issues, but if we don't have any more, we would just simply stop and return back to our main screen. We're now finished at this stage. We've put what we need. We can go into the document preview, and you'll see that we have our caption already done. We've put in the above named defendants, their signatures and all that. It has the back sheet, everything that you need in the particular action, and it's even built us a string of defendants: John Smith, Citibank MasterCard, the United States of America, etc. If we were to go further into this process, you'll notice if we go back to the first page, we have the case at a glance, which gives us a summary of the defendants, who are the fee owners, whether they're dead or missing, and details in the process. We can continue through the process selection, and we can now produce a temporary administrator. You'll notice at this point we're going to indicate who is going to be the signer for that particular document. We already have property details and the lien and the general information. And if we go to document preview, instead of our summons and complaint, you'll now see we have the order to show cause for the appointment of the temporary administrator. We bring it back to the first page. We proceed through the process, and now we're going to have the order to appoint. Now we're going to indicate who's going to be signing the correspondence. And now, since we're doing the order, we're going to need to put into the system the name of the temporary administrator, because that's what's needed in the order, and his firm and address. If we go into document preview, you'll notice that in the order to appoint, it has put in the name of the temporary administrator. You'll notice in our list of processes, we've done the initial documents on a particular date, the temporary admin 1 and temporary admin 2 in the workflow. Choose temporary admin 3, and we would proceed through. Again, we have an option of producing a supplemental summons and complaint, which we may or may not want to do. And we now have the notice of entry, which is required, and we indicate who's going to receive the notice among the defendants and whether any other particular entities are going to be served. We go back to document preview. It's now, here's our notice of entry to appoint. And you'll notice we have a much more extended caption that includes the various John Does and other portions in the system. We go back to the top of our tree. We've done temp admin 3. Let's choose the fourth part of the process, the RJI, and the actual papers. We still got to make sure we put in the proper address of the temporary admin. We have our property details, our general matter info. You'll notice on this crucial case data, we need to actually put the date the order was granted and the date of the order of entry, which is required for the form. Back to our defendants, and again we're finished, and in our document preview, you'll notice that we now have our cover letter appointing our temporary admin. We have our consent form and various other portions of the document all pulled together, along with the summary of what actually is being produced on the final page. This then ties back into a Time Matters system, which lets you gather data and calendar your various appointments and link this document into that document management system. Hope you have enjoyed this overview of how HotDocs can be used as part of a workflow process. If you have any questions, please call us.